Greetings everyone. This video will show an innovative solution for an environmental problem in the UAE, species extinction, discussing all the factors and providing optimal solution to limit it. UAE is a country with vast coastline along the Arabian Gulf, marked by massive stretches of the sandy desert, supports fauna adapted for desert climate. However, animals in there are close to extinction as they are captured for the pet trade, rendered to intensive hunting, loss of their habitat. As a result, it's critical to explore the wildlife of the region, animals introduced accidentally, extirpated, as well as extinct species. Accidental animals are rare species in the community, presented either as a chance invaders from another community or as relics from previous communities. The increased development has led to the loss of breeding grounds for the sea animals such as Socotra cormorant. Moreover, illegal trade has presented another concern for the accidental and intentional introduction of the animal species in the region. The term extirpated refers to a species that no longer exists in a particular native area but might be found elsewhere. In the United Arab Emirates, increased development has made certain species leave their natural habitats for other unfamiliar environments. Quails and rabbits have been introduced in the country with the view of diversifying the food in the region as well as to be kept as domestic poultry. Extinct animals are the one proven non-exist worldwide. Extinction happened due to a variety of reasons, among them pollution, climate change, and overgrowing human population, which have all continued to push wildlife out of their natural habitats. In the UAE, various species have been turned extinct, among them the native Arabian leopard and gazelle. To explore more, we have visited Birds and Pet Market in Warsan, Dubai, and Wasat Wetland in Sharjah. Both site visits were very interesting and got lots of information. Visited Birds and Pet Market in Warsan at first. It was a lovely Friday evening. All COVID safety measures were taken and we did not need any consent or a permit to take videos and photos as it's a place for the public. Let's watch a short video documented by UAE BUiD on the market. The market provides various types of pets like dogs, cats, birds, reptiles, along with their needs such as food, cage, and rest of their needs. It was really interesting to see all these kinds of pets. However, we have noticed that most animals were caged and the cage was really dirty and the environment was not suitable for some animals such as huskies. Even rabbits were put into one cage with only 2 or 3 bowls of water. Our next visit was to Wasat Wetland Center in Sharjah, where extirpated and endangered birds are conserved. In the day of our visit, the outdoor section was closed, so it was very informative to find this video on the outdoor section, as it presents to us how the birds are being conserved in the center and how they built a proper environment for each type of bird. Informative boards and infographics about the birds were all over the indoor section, as it helped us understand the importance of conserving those endangered birds. In addition, we also learned about some of the primary threats that happen in the Gulf area, and the UAE in specific, as urban development, habitat destruction, and agricultural change. We have indicated several problems in our visit to Birds and Pets Market and came up with some solution for each. Inhumane method of hunting is our first problem, as stakeholders mentioned that they plug fear of the birds when taming them, which sounds brutal. As a solution, we think that regulations and fines must be applied and forbid trading such animals. We must also raise awareness where people can also report such acts. Second problem is the cages. We've seen parrots put into small cages that do not suit them. It was a sad thing to look at. Furthermore, we have also spotted big number of rabbits in one cage. Some dogs were kept alone in the cage, and some other cages were not distributed well in the shop. For solutions, we suggest that they take safety into consideration and design the cage based on the animal's need. They can also use recyclable cages and do proper maintenance. They can use high quality anti-rust materials and use proper capacity for each cage. Hygiene is another problem. It was really unfortunate to see all the dirt covering the cages. Animal waste was all over the cage and the food. Moreover, some shops were also dirty, not only the cages. Trained labor must do frequent cleaning schedule, and the municipality has to do their checkups as well. Suggest to use organic detergent to clean the cages. The fourth problem is feeding. The animal feed was not clean due to the unclean cage, and the food was provided next to their waste. In addition, it wasn't also distributed well amongst the cage. We suggest that they do proper sectioning for the animal feed and improve the quality of the drinking water and provide more safety on how they provide the food. Studies have shown that animals can reduce loneliness, increase feelings of social support, and boost their mood when they're comfortable. However, this has not been noticed in the market. Nor thermal comfort and visual comfort was provided for some of the pets, as also other animals that are imported were not feeling inhabit. Huskies are not used to our hot climate, so providing proper thermal comfort is really important for those animals. Install thermal deductor in each animal zone is good suggestion for this issue. Sometimes having different cages of animal breed is not a good idea. Cats and dogs, for instance. There should be proper space between cages and dedicated shop for each kind of animal. Providing medical care for animals is really important. Animals must be taken care of like humans. They should be vaccinated and forbid trading without having the vaccine certificate. For our main problem, we are focusing on the extent of quails and rabbits in the UAE due to falconry sports, as it's one of the most important and common heritage in the country.
As for our optimal solution, we thought of establishing a sustainable falconry center. We thought of a design that looks like a falcon feather from the outside. The sustainable center will have three main halls. First, we'll have the library section where visitors or members of the center will have access to informative sources about the traditional falconry sport. Secondly, on the opposite side, there will be the organic coffee shop and the gift shop, with a nice view of the outside. Finally, at the back, we'll have the falcon care area, where falcons will be kept, fed, groomed, and to follow up with vets. To maintain the idea of our sustainable falcon training center, artificial baits will be provided, replacing rabbits and quails. The bait will be made of organic materials and covered with feathers to look fresh and alive to the falcon eye. Because the actual falcon training will be placed in the open area outside, electronic transportation will be provided as well for the falconers or visitors to watch the training. The coffee shop in the center will be providing organic food and drinks and using recyclable and reusable packages. The Falcon Care Center can be seen as Falcon Hotel as well. Grooming sessions, staying overnight, and seeing a vet can be booked. We distributed a questionnaire to the public, Falcon Heritage and Sports Center, Birds and Pets Market, and to falconers as our stakeholders. We aim to measure the level of awareness about animal extinction in the UAE as we try to measure the support of our stakeholders to the Sustainable Training Center. The majority of our stakeholders are aware of this problem and have agreed that the biggest drawback of it will be pollution and disturbance of food chain and ecosystem. From our questionnaire, we noticed that our stakeholders thought that rabbits and climiditides were popularly used in training more than quails. As for our enablers for our sustainable center, the public cared more about the falcon care and to have a gallery wall. As for the falconry center, they agreed on having the gallery hall as well, and electronic transportation were important. Our stakeholders in birds and pets market agreed on having the gallery wall as well, and they thought that having a rest area is important too. Falconers agreed that having falcon care is important, and just like our other stakeholders, falconers expressed how important it is to have a rest area. Also, our stakeholders thought that the main barriers facing the sustainable center is the resistance of new method of training by trainers or falcons, alongside of the cost and maintenance of the artificial baits. Our stakeholders agreed that finding a good location will be beneficial for the center, as well as governmental incentives, and that it will preserve the heritage and tradition of this sport in the United Arab Emirates. In conclusion, we need to be part of protecting animals of the earth while maintaining our traditional sports, and we hope that our solutions are taken into consideration.